Chairman Walberg, Ranking Member Courtney, and honorable members of the Subcommittee on Workforce Protections. Thank you again for your interest in these very important developments, and I'm appearing today on behalf of the HR Policy Association to discuss specifically the 503 regulations addressing individuals with disabilities. Let me briefly take a moment to introduce the HR Policy Association, which has a long-standing and very proud history of being supportive and involved in assisting individuals with disabilities to find meaningful employment. The association is comprised of 350 of the largest corporations in the United States. These companies employ more than 10 million employees in the U.S. and nearly 9% of the private workforce, and indeed offer employment to 20 million employees worldwide. The HR policy members have a strong history of supporting affirmative action and have been intimately involved in the development of effective programs to deal with individuals with disabilities, including the recent amendments to the Americans with Disabilities Act that have been widely accepted. In the initial statement, in the limited time I have, I would like to focus on several areas of concern, though, that we do have with respect to the 503 regulations. First, let me note that the regulations are an improvement from what had been proposed and some of the initial concerns. With that being said, though, there still are remaining concerns. With respect to the goal, and with all due respect to Director Hsu, our concern remains that the goal, as it is administered, may in fact become a quota. And let me tell you why we have the concern. Because the language, although it states that it will be a goal, look beyond and in fact how the goals historically have been administered. Because as Director Hsu has explained, and certainly the OFCCP carries out in the field, what gets measured is what gets done. We know in the field and in practice that if you fall short of that 7%, what is going to happen? The agency is going to impose what is called a conciliation agreement and require that a numerical goal be achieved. That effectively operates as a quota. Now, that is not just supposition on our part. We have an example under the law today involving a contractor, GA Masonry, involving veterans. The department determined that their outreach efforts were insufficient. The answer was, here is a numerical target. You must hire the following number of veterans in order to demonstrate you're making sufficient outreach efforts. That, we submit, is how a goal becomes a quota. That should not be allowed to proceed, and we are concerned. Second, under these new rules, contractors will be required to ask every applicant whether he or she has a disability, and this is before they're offered a job. Now, that has not been the requirement of this land for over 30 years. The Americans with Disabilities Act specifically prohibits that type of inquiry. And we have a long-standing proud culture where we have focused on individuals' abilities, not their disabilities, in assessing whether they meet the basic qualifications of the job. These are concerns that we have expressed repeatedly. We've asked for a safe harbor to be made. If this is going to be required, at least amend the ADA. Do something to make clear that we won't, as a result of complying with the regulation, now face litigation as a result. What we have received so far is a letter from staff counsel at the EEOC saying, I think this will not violate the ADA. I might add, her letter failed to note that the same counsel in 1996 wrote a letter stating it would violate the ADA to make such inquiries. And unfortunately, when we have asked the Department of Labor whether in the event that our member companies comply with this new regulation and face litigation, will the department have our back? Will they come and file an amicus brief to support us in court? We've been told no. The department can't make that commitment either. So we're concerned. This is an issue that could easily and should have been addressed that would have avoided these concerns. I think that one of the aspects that would assist so that these issues don't pile up and get sorted out through a prolonged litigation that costs members needless resources would be if there could be periodic reporting to this committee by this agency. That way we could know in real time, perhaps every 6 months, what the agency is doing and how they're implementing these rules. So with that, I thank you and be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you.